we have a president-elect. And I'm one of those people, I revere the institution. I revere this country, I revere the presidency, and I want our president to succeed. And our job, my job, is not to wake up every single day and get a crowbar and try to put it in the spokes of the wheel of the Trump administration. And so again, in that spirit of an open hand, not a closed fist, that's how we...
Donald Trump's mass deportation plan was the center point of his campaign, and it was going to be the driving force behind his presidency because it combines all the things that Donald Trump loves most, scapegoating immigrants and setting up a fascist police state in which he would give cops immunity to go after not illegal immigrants, but also legal immigrants who, as we know, are deflationary. So Donald Trump's plan would also hurt one of his other campaign promises to bring down costs, which of course we know he doesn't actually care about doing. And all of that horribleness has come together in a way that's just backfiring for Donald Trump before his presidency can even begin. Because not only are Republicans now starting to come to terms with how damaging this mass deportation plan would be, but Democratic governors like Gavin Newsom are stepping up to push back against Donald Trump, and we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me now. Before we get into what Gavin Newsom is doing to push back against Donald Trump, I want to hear an update about what organizations across the country are doing in this update from the ACLU on MSNBC.
Tell us something good. Deirdre, first of all, the talk of immigration. Trump is prepared for the largest deportation, or is preparing for the largest deportation operation in American history. And I wonder kind of how you guys are thinking about a battle which could be one of epic proportions. How are you preparing?
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me. Really glad to be here to talk about this. Yes, Trump starts talking about criminals and then immediately moves to talking about deporting 20 million people, which is, in fact, double the estimated number of people who are actually undocumented in our country. And the ACLU has been preparing on three fronts. First, of course, our litigation front. Yeah. And I just want to remind you that during Trump's first administration, the ACLU filed more than 400 legal actions against the Trump administration and was successful in many of them, even arguing before Trump appointed judges. So we are confident in our litigation team's prowess and ability to meet this moment. Second is what we're calling our firewall for freedom. And this is an effort that we are doing with our affiliates. The ACLU has an affiliate in every single state in this country. And those affiliates have close relationships with their governors, their attorneys general, the legislatures, the mayors in cities. So we've been working together to build out a firewall to protect people's rights and liberties at the state and city level. And then finally, there are our millions of grassroots supporters all across the country. We've been holding trainings. We have hundreds and hundreds of people coming to these weekly trainings to learn about what we can anticipate from a Trump administration and start to get ready to fight back.
We need more organizations coming together like the ACLU to not only push back against Donald Trump on their own, but give state and local governments the resources that they need to tell Donald Trump no. And we've heard so much from Donald Trump or Tom Homan saying that they're going to barge into your state charge, into your city, into your town. They're going to take it over. They'll do whatever they want. ICE is not taking no for an answer, as like I said, they deport both illegal and legal immigrants, and they use the immunity that Donald Trump wants to give to police officers to profile people, disrupt communities, and tear families apart. We have to be pushing back against that. Because this narrative that Donald Trump is going to create is that he's going after all of these illegal immigrants and these criminals, as Donald Trump always loves to rant and rave about. But what he'll actually be doing is just giving local cops the ability to profile people and rip families apart unjustly. We know that those who were working, those Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, they were working there legally and actually asked to come by business leaders in the community who saw their town revitalized by that deflationary immigration, as this plan by Donald Trump is an absolute disaster. And that's why we see governors like Gavin Newsom pushing back, and that is exactly what he's doing. And I want to get into that in this political article right here. Newsom's Team Moole's immigrant support plan to counter Trump deportations, an internal memo obtained by Politico, shows the governor's office is considering different ways to help undocumented immigrants and their families. Gavin Newsom's administration is drafting a potential plan to help undocumented immigrants who may be threatened by incoming President Trump's mass deportation threats, including resources to find legal aid. A draft of the plan obtained by Politico, entitled Immigrant Support Network Concept, proposes the creation of an immigrant support network comprised of regional hubs to connect at-risk individuals, their families, and communities with community systems such as legal services, schools, labor unions, local governments, etc. The draft is sparse on detail and notes that the plans are still under review, but it says the hubs could provide referrals to service providers, share critical information, and collect details about community needs in order to coordinate policy statewide. It's one of the first indications of how a major blue state is thinking about ways to oppose the Trump administration on immigration, as Democratic leaders struggle to find their footing on the pivotal electoral issue. The draft is part of broader efforts by Newsom and other leading California Democrats to prepare for a second Trump administration that is already on track clash with the state's liberal policies. The governor called a special session shortly after the election to approve an additional $25 million in state funds for potential federal litigation, for instance. Newsom and his allies are particularly concerned about Trump's pledged mass deportations in the ripple effects in California, which is the largest population of undocumented residents in the country. According to the draft, the California Department of Social Services would distribute state funds to eligible nonprofits and take on administrative duties for the hubs. The draft does not indicate, however, how much funding the plan would require, but it says it would go toward community outreach partnership, legal services, staffing positions, and approved administrative costs associated with hub operations. I think this is incredibly important for California, the biggest economy in the country of all the states, and the fifth biggest economy in the world, to be showing that, as we've said again and again, although we would love for all migration into America to be legal, it is because of our broken immigration system and the time that asylum claims take to be processed that there is so much illegal immigration. And if Donald Trump and Republicans actually cared about that, they would work for comprehensive immigration reform, but they have it. They don't care. Donald Trump killed the bill to start moving forward on that because he wanted to run on the issue. It's the reason why Republicans don't actually want comprehensive immigration reform, because if we made the process easier and there were few illegal immigrants coming in, which just because someone seeks asylum in this country and doesn't go through the proper channels should not make them a criminal, should not make them an evil person. In your eyes, illegal immigrants contribute to Social Security and Medicare. They pay taxes. They pay into the social safety net that they don't get to take advantage of. They're in our communities. They are neighbors. They are friends, our family members. They're working and participating in the communities that we build all across America. And like I said, They don't see the benefits of our social safety net while paying hundreds of billions of dollars into it and every single year and working for lower wages that help businesses run, like I said, illegal immigration. Immigration generally is deflationary, and California is proving how important it is every single day. And Republicans now are talking about how scared they are of the potential for Donald Trump to cut off skilled migration and visas from places like India or China or Japan, where Elon Musk and V. Ramaswamy are already worried that the tech sphere that they operate in could be incredibly damaged if Donald Trump decides to go after more forms of immigration. So yeah, things aren't looking good for Donald Trump, and Gavin Newsom is calling that out, as he has been since Donald Trump was elected. And as we saw in this clip right here,
we have a president-elect, and I'm one of those people. I revere the institution. I revere this country. I revere the presidency, and I want our president to succeed. And our job, my job, is not to wake up every single day and get a crowbar and try to put it in the spokes of the wheel of the Trump administration. And so again, in that spirit of an open hand, not a closed fist, that's how we want to proceed. That said, fourth point, I'm not naive either, and we're pragmatic, and we will stand firm. I am reminded, there's that great old poem about, the winds may howl, but I will not be swept away. This notion that we have to plant our feet. And I remember, I've been here long enough, having worked with the previous Trump administration, I'm not naive about those wins, and they did howl. We were involved in we were involved in specifically 122 lawsuits with the Trump administration. We know their playbook. We know what they're going to do. I talked a lot about the campaign, and I appreciated Kamala Harris's closing message about Donald Trump has an enemies list, and she said, have a to-do list. I said I would make it a modest addendum to that. So did Donald Trump. That to-do list is laid out in a 922-page document, of which there's 270 specific points that he has publicly supported in that Project 2025 document, which 75% of its authors, and there's a multitude of authors, worked with the Trump administration. None of us are naive when he said he knew nothing about it. That is a to-do list. That is a playbook. The Heritage Foundation and others backing that playbook. You build on that, not naive about what to anticipate.
we need more Democrats like Gavin Newsom who can communicate this message in the importance of pushing back, because it's not just about the opposition to Donald Trump. We don't just want to oppose Donald Trump broadly without giving a specific reason, because people seem to have largely tuned that out. We need to be talking about the direct impact of his poor policies and how they are only there to serve himself and his rich friends. And that is what we were going to be talking about every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you're stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.